conversation? Jamie's first.
Sure. Okay. Is that 5 minutes?
No, you'll get 10 minutes.
Fight for your time.
You go ahead.
I'm just going to start talking right now.
Yeah.
Okay, so thank you everybody for coming here and letting me share with you. I feel pretty honored and excited to get to talk about this, especially right now. It's been a little while since I've been able to connect with people, and talking about my experience in the PDP program is something I'm quite passionate about, and working with new people in the PDP program that are coming through is another thing that I really enjoy. So I'm really excited to be here. I have a lot of little talking points that I've made, and I don't know that I'll get to touch on all of them, but I'm just going to start to kind of go through a little bit of them, and hopefully it won't be the same thing that you've already heard. I think the most important thing to recognize is that the teacher program, or any kind of professional program, is like a transformative experience, and that's a big and kind of scary process. I think for any individual to go through a transformation is a kind of like a keystone moment in somebody's life. And for me, I think one of the major shifts that happened, and one of the things that I think we should be aware of for people, is how do we shift somebody's view of like a professional or any education program from being something where you go through and at the end you kind of like acquire a set of skills, to being something that you experience and you sort of develop kind of a comfort with discomfort, I suppose. So in me it engendered a passion to kind of keep learning, and an excitement about being in situations where I was continually challenged. And as I like kind of move through and I bring that into my new career, starting as a teacher, I feel that I'm able to recognize the uniqueness of each day, and the uniqueness of each student, and the uniqueness of each class. And that's something that's really quite powerful. So I find a lot of times when I'm talking to people who are about to go into the practicum, or just starting in the teacher education program, the narrative a lot of the times is they just want to know how to do it. Right? They just want that skill set so they can walk in and they just feel like super confident and they know how to handle every situation. And the reality is that doesn't exist, because it's what a classroom looks like is continually changing. I mean, from week to week, from year to year, but it's even changing from moment to moment. And what's happening with just one specific individual in your classes and their needs is changing so dramatically, just within each moment. So that kind of you coming in and assuming that you need to have like an answer to be able to just kind of blanket statement it out is something that's false. And so it's important to, I think, try to somehow negotiate with new teacher candidates a way where they can like let go of that kind of notion. Let go of this idea that they need to just have this like one particular box that's going to work for them when they come out. So how do you kind of do that? I think that you have to give students an opportunity to operate within a school setting, and then have like physical learned experiences, so to like embody those learned experiences, and then also have a safe space to come back to, which is a university, and kind of dissect and reflect on those experiences, to understand like what's going on in those moments in the school, to understand what was happening for them and what was happening for those students. So we're building reflective individuals. We're not building cookie cutter people. So I would feel for myself, in the PDP program when I did it, I was fortunate in that I got to be placed in a school right away, and I got to work with individuals who demonstrated a level of care for me and a care for my individual learning journey that allowed me to take chances and to take risks and to kind of push myself into a new understanding of who I was and what I could be. I think it's Okay, sorry. I think, so one of the things that happened was there was a connection that was made between myself and people in the university. It was a real meaningful personal connection that I developed with my professors right away. And then that transitioned into real meaningful connections that I also established with educators working in schools. And it also connected to people that were working in the ministry, and it also connected to people that were working in the faculty at school. So very quickly in the program, I was able to establish a network of relationships with teachers that were working in the schools, with people that were working in faculty roles, with people that were working in the ministry, and I had really important connections with people that were working at the university. And it was like those levels of meaningful connection allowed me to begin to understand that I wasn't necessarily just like a student that was coming to learn. I was able to start to contribute to things that were going on within the school. So I became a part of a school community in a real meaningful way, and as opposed to just kind of being a fly on the wall or just somebody that was there observing and taking notes. I was given an opportunity to connect to programs that were happening within a school, that were happening within a district, and I was able to become involved with them in a way where I was actually like an integral part. And I started to recognize how my own experiences could contribute to those programs and the experiences of students in ways that were useful and meaningful for everybody involved. And I think that those kind of moments were really the things that kind of shifted me and moved me into the, pardon?
Sorry, come on.
That shifted me and moved me through and turned me into kind of, give me a different kind of self-identity, a different kind of confidence. The other thing I wanted to just kind of touch on is I think that the overarching piece that kind of connected my program and what I think we need to kind of be aware of is this co-constructive piece. So I really had the sense that when I was in the program, I was co-constructing my program with the professors and with the teachers there. And I also got this, so I got the sense that I was building with them and that I was building this learning experience and that I was taking what I knew and creating it with them. And so when I'm now working with students, I feel much more comfortable co-constructing learning experiences with students, and that's much more valuable, I think, for the people that I work with now as I move through my teaching career. One of the questions that was posed was how do we set teachers up in order to be like critical of existing processes and creative in ways that they shape and utilize their pedagogy and resources. And I think it's our responsibility to find ways to connect new teachers with people that are doing innovative and interesting things in the district and give them opportunities to connect and work with those people. I mean, it's one thing to go to the university and talk about, you know, the zone of proximal development and John Dewey and just talk about this theory. But when you're actually in a classroom and you're working with teachers and students and you kind of embody what that looks like within a real life situation, it's much different. I remember pushing students too hard and having them get frustrated, so pushing them out of that. And I learned what that looks like, having a student come up to me and be frustrated with me because something I did was too much or I was pushing them too hard. That's the kind of learning that I'll never forget. I also was fortunate to have really positive experiences doing really unique and exciting things. So we need to find teachers that are doing that. I think it's one thing to build somebody's confidence in like a more traditional classroom. It's nice to kind of go in and you teach a lesson and you get a bunch of interesting comments back about a particular piece of literature, and that feels kind of good. It might be like drinking a cup of green tea. But if you go in and you're part of a project where students are working on some social justice piece and they're connecting with the community and they're making a difference in the community and the way they work and they're demonstrating empathy for one another, and you get to see all of that and you actually get to live that experience, that kind of changes something inside of you. And as a new teacher, once you experience something like that, an innovative process, and you see it work, it's like all of a sudden, it's like you had ecstasy and got on a rocket ship. It's just so much more exciting. And so now you can't go back and just do the same old thing that people were doing because it just doesn't do it for you anymore. You can't go back and just have teachers, and you can't just go back and have people handing you book reports anymore because it's just boring to you at that point. It just doesn't do it. So I think that piece is just really important, which I think a lot of us know and we're starting to do. I just kind of wanted to re-articulate that. Thanks.
Perfect. Good timing, Jamie.